comes a moment in every believer's journey when the flames feel too hot, the burden too heavy, and the path too dark. It's not merely the external pressures, loss of a job, a failed relationship, a crushing diagnosis, but the inward sorrow, the shame, the silent tears shed when no one else is watching. And yet, in the very heart of that furnace, he whispers, "Now I will lift you out of the fire." God never abandons his own. Though he may seem silent as the flames roar, he has never left your side. In that furnace of affliction, he is present, walking beside you, commanding the heat, molding you by fire. The moment he decides to intervene is not determined by your timing, but by his sovereign purpose. The furnace is never too hot to escape his control. Think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they walked into the fire, they walked in as mere men. But when they walked out with a fourth presence by their side, untouched, unsinged, unstoppable. That fourth figure was God himself. That same God is here today, as near to you in your trial as he was to them. Let me remind you, God doesn't waste a fire. Those flames are not there to destroy you, but to absolve you, to burn off every fear, every doubt, every rope that has held you captive. He's refining you to make you pure, to make you powerful, to prepare you for a purpose only he can fulfill. Every tear you shed has been witnessed. Every prayer you whispered under your breath has been heard. And now he says, hold on, this refining is not yet complete, but the moment draws near. Some of you have been in the flames so long that you've started believing this furnace is permanent. Have you forgotten what Isaiah said? When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flames scorch you, neither shall the waters overflow you. That is not a wish, it's his unbreakable promise. You're still breathing? That's not happenstance. That's his mercy. You're still standing? That's his grace. There is coming a time when those flames will no longer press upon you. A divine lift is on the horizon. And oh, when he lifts you, he will do so in glory. He will bring you out with praise on your lips, testimony in your mouth, and fire in your bones. You won't look like what you've been through. You won't smell like smoke. You won't carry ashes. You'll carry the anointing. Nothing you've done or not done earns this lift. You don't deserve it. But that's small compared to the greatness of his mercy. It doesn't come because you're strong. It comes because he is faithful. You don't need more strength. You need more presence. And his presence is enough. Perhaps you're doubting, wondering, asking, why me? How long, Lord? It's because he's preparing you for a moment greater than your pain. He's preparing you for revival, to bring hope to others, to speak life into broken places, to build his kingdom in ways you couldn't in comfort. The higher the call, the hotter the fire, but the cooler the power of his lift. So stand, beloved, do not sink. This furnace is not your grave. It is your birthplace. Wait on him. And listen, at just the right moment, you will feel it. A gentle, sovereign lift that carries you from the coals into his arm, into his victory, and into his destiny. This is not the end of your story. It is the exponent of his glory. And the best is yet to come. Keynote 2 of 5 proxips, 100 words. Continued from keynote 1 of when God is saying, now I will lift you out of the fire. The fire was never meant to be your home, though it may have felt like it. It was never God's intention for you to remain in a place of unending struggle, of torment, of pain that buries your hope. No, the fire was a tool, a divine instrument to refine what the world tried to ruin. God never allows suffering without purpose. He doesn't stand idly while his children cry. He counts your tears, and in due season, he transforms them into testimony. Now, he is speaking clearly. Now I will lift you out of the fire. Not tomorrow, not when you think you're ready, now. You may not understand how. The circumstances may not have changed. The enemies might still surround you. The finances might still be low. The diagnosis may still sit on the paper. But something deeper is happening. The shift is spiritual before it is physical. God works from the inside out. Long before the chains fall off your situation, they fall off your soul. Long before the storm outside ends, he stills the storm within you. That's how God lifts. He raises you in spirit before he raises you in position. You've been praying for relief, and God has heard you. But more than relief, he is offering release. He is releasing you from the opinions of others, from the shame of your past, from the guilt that has clung to your name. He is lifting you into the light of his grace, and no one, not the devil, not your enemies, not even your past, can pull you back once he's begun to raise you. He is the lifter of your head. When man says you're finished, God says you're just beginning. When the world walks away, he walks in. This lifting isn't just for your comfort, it's for his glory. When God lifts a person out of the fire, it becomes a demonstration to everyone watching that he still saves, he still restores, he still reigns. People have seen you walk through fire, but now they will witness you walk in favor. They saw your breakdown. Now they'll see your breakthrough, not because you were stronger than the storm, but because God was in the storm with you. The fire didn't destroy you. It revealed the God who never left you. And as he lifts you, there is a peace that comes, not as the world gives, but as he alone gives. It's not peace from trouble, it's peace in trouble. That's how you know it's him. Because the circumstances still scream, but your soul sings. The battle still rages, but your spirit is at rest. That's what happens when God lifts you. He doesn't just change your location, he changes your posture. You no longer walk as a victim of the fire, but as a vessel of his power. You carry a story, you carry a sound, you carry a word that others need to hear. Your life becomes a living sermon of God's mercy and might. And now, because you've endured, because you've believed, because you've refused to let go, he is placing you where no flame can follow, where no enemy can drag you back, where no fear can paralyze your progress. So walk boldly, lift your eyes, let the past be ashes, and let the future burn with promise. The fire was real, but so is the lifting. And the same God who allowed the fire is the God who now says, enough. He alone has the authority to say, now I will lift you. And when he says it, nothing can stop it. Would you like me to continue with keynote 3? Certainly. Here's keynote 3 of 5, continuing the speech titled, When God is Saying, Now I Will Lift You Out of the Fire, in a powerful revival-style tone, approximately 600 words with no headings. There are moments when life feels like a furnace turned 7 times hotter. You didn't ask for the fire. You didn't choose the trial. It came uninvited, and before you knew it, you were standing in the middle of something that threatened to destroy everything you held dear. People looked at you and said, there's no way they'll survive this. The enemy mocked, hoping to see your faith fall apart. But what they didn't realize is that you weren't standing alone. Through every moment, every tear, every sleepless night, the Lord was there, not watching from a distance, but walking beside you. Not removed, but invested. He saw your pain, he felt your sorrow, and he has declared, now I will lift you out of the fire. But God's timing is not man's timing. We often want out of the fire quickly. We beg for escape. We pray for immediate change. But God, in his wisdom, allows the fire to last long enough to do its work. Because there are things inside of us that cannot be built on the mountaintop. They are forged in the flames. Humility is born in the fire. The kind of faith that doesn't bend, that doesn't bow, that doesn't break. It grows when everything around you is falling apart. The fire is where idols are burned. It's where pride is melted. It's where self-sufficiency is destroyed and total surrender is born. And once the fire has done what God intended, then and only then does he say, now I will lift you. You've been faithful through the heat. You didn't curse God when it hurt. You didn't walk away when it was easier to give up. You stayed, you believed. And even when your belief felt weak, you kept whispering, Lord, I trust you. That whisper in the fire was louder in heaven than any shout. Heaven doesn't measure strength the way earth does. The world may not see what it cost you to keep going, but God does. And because of your endurance, your obedience, and your trust, he is moving, not because you earned it, but because he is faithful to those who call on his name. Now comes the lifting. Not just a change of location, but a change of identity. You are not just someone who went through fire. You are someone who came out purified, refined, strengthened, called. The fire didn't define you. It refined you. It prepared you for the very thing the enemy was trying to keep you from. And when God lifts you, he doesn't just restore what you lost. He multiplies. He heals. He promotes. He opens doors no man can shut. When he lifts you, it's not just for your sake. It's so others can see his glory through your story. Some may question how you made it out. They'll wonder how you're still standing. They'll understand how you came through what you did and still have peace, still have joy, still have purpose. But you'll know. You'll know it was the Lord who reached down and raised you up. It was not by might, not by power, but by his Spirit. The fire proved who your God really is. Not a distant force, but a present deliverer. Not a silent spectator, but a faithful Father. So don't let the fire convince you that you were forgotten. Don't let the heat lie to you. The Lord has been watching over you the entire time, and he has never once turned away. And now, just as he promised, he is lifting you. You are not leaving this fire empty-handed. You are coming out with power, with purpose, with testimony. And everything that tried to bury you will witness the faithfulness of your God. Would you like me to continue with Keynote 4? Here is Keynote 4 of 5 from the series When God is Saying, Now I Will Lift You Out of the Fire, delivered in the spirit of classic Christian revival preaching, approximately 600 words without any heading. There is a sound that reaches heaven louder than any choir, louder than any sermon, louder than the voices of angels. It is the cry of a surrendered heart in the midst of the fire. That cry doesn't need to be eloquent. It doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it's just the name Jesus breathed out in exhaustion. But every time it is real, it moves the heart of God. It's not in vain. It's in the heart. It's in the heart. It's not forgotten. When a child of God cries from the depths of affliction, heaven takes notice. And in response to that cry, God now speaks with authority. Now I will lift you out of the fire. Not because of your perfection, not because you got everything right, but because your heart has been purified, because your dependence has been deepened, and because your trust has remained when everything else was stripped away. You didn't know what the fire was doing while you were in it. You couldn't see the end. There were nights when you thought the pain would never stop, when you questioned if God was even listening. The silence hurt more than the trial. The waiting felt like it would never end. And yet, even in that silence, God was working. He was preparing something in you that couldn't be rushed. He was shaping you into someone who doesn't just believe in miracles, but walks in them. Someone who doesn't just sing of deliverance, but carries the spirit of a deliverer. Someone who doesn't just read about victory, but lives it every single day. The lifting doesn't always come with a blast of trumpets or a grand announcement. Sometimes it happens quietly, gracefully. You'll wake up one day and realize the burden is gone. The depression has lifted. The fear has dissolved. The weight that sat on your shoulders for so long is no longer there. And you look around and say, something has changed. That's how God moves. Suddenly, quietly, powerfully. And it will be clear to you and to those who know your struggle that God has stepped in, not to comfort you in the fire this time, but to bring you out of it. But when he brings you out, you won't come out the same way you went in. You're coming out wiser. You're coming out stronger. You're coming out with eyes that see more clearly, with a heart that feels more deeply, with a voice that carries weight. You'll no longer speak from theory. You'll speak from experience. When you tell someone God is faithful, it won't be empty words. It will come from the scars that became testimony, from the fire that didn't consume you, but changed you. The enemy tried to silence you in the fire, but now God is giving you a platform. The very pain that tried to destroy you is now the foundation of your ministry. The very tears that soaked your pillow have become the oil of gladness on your life. The very attacks that came against your mind are now the weapon God will use to free others. This is not just recovery, it's resurrection. And the resurrection always comes with a purpose greater than the pain. So don't just come out of the fire and move on. Come out and give God the glory. Come out and tell others that God still delivers, still heals, still restores. Come out and walk with the authority of someone who has been through hell and held on to heaven. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a vessel of grace. And when people ask how you made it, don't point to your strength. Point to the hand that lifted you. Let your story declare, if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, I would have been consumed. The fire was real, but so is the lifting. And the same God who allowed the test is now raising you up as a testimony. You may have gone into the fire in weakness, but you are coming out in power, not because of who you are, but because of who He is. Shall I continue with Keynote 5? Here is Keynote 5 of 5 from the powerful series, When God is Saying, Now I Will Lift You Out of the Fire. Written in the spirit of bold Christian revival preaching, approximately 600 words without any heading. There is a moment in the life of a believer when everything shifts, not because the fire suddenly disappears, but because God speaks. And when God speaks, everything that once held power must bow. Suffering must bow, sickness must bow, fear, shame, regret, addiction, heartbreak. When God says, now I will lift you out of the fire, all those things lose their grip. Not because they grew weaker, but because the hand of Almighty God has taken over. The hand that formed the heavens, the hand that carved the oceans, the hand that reached down into the dust and made man, that same hand has reached into your fire. You're not waiting for Him to show up anymore. He is here, and He is lifting you. You've been through a season where it felt like everything was burning. Your peace, your finances, your relationships, your confidence, consumed by a fire you couldn't control. You tried to hold it together. You quoted scriptures. You prayed through tears. You fought to keep believing. But deep down, you started to wonder if the fire would ever end. Let me tell you, it's ending now. Not because you shouted the loudest, not because you had perfect faith, but because God has chosen this moment to act. His mercy has moved. His grace has drawn the line, and He has said, no more. My child has endured long enough. Now I will lift them up. And when God lifts you, He does it so thoroughly that the enemy is left speechless. When God lifts you, there is no residue of bondage left on your soul. When He lifts you, you don't come out crawling, you come out standing tall. You come out with a posture of praise, with a stride of strength, with eyes that have seen the fire and a heart that knows the deliverer. People who only saw your struggle will now witness your strength. They'll ask, how did you survive? And you'll answer, because the Lord lifted me. This is the season where everything turns. It won't just be about recovery, it will be about dominion. God doesn't bring you out of the fire just to breathe again. He brings you out to reign. He raises you to places of influence. He establishes you in peace. He sets your feet on solid ground so others can follow. What once broke you will now bow to you because it's under your feet. You won't be haunted by what you went through. You'll be honored by heaven for overcoming it. Because you held on, because you trusted him in the dark, he is now bringing you into the light. And hear me, this lifting will glorify God in ways you never imagined. Your family will see it. Your enemies will see it. Your doubters, your critics, those who walked away when the fire started, they will all witness what the Lord has done. Not so you can boast, but so his name will be lifted high. So people can see that God still rescues. He still restores. He still makes a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Your story will become someone else's hope. Your fire will fuel someone else's faith. So lift your head, wipe your tears. The fire did not defeat you. It revealed what was inside you. Faith, endurance, a calling greater than your pain. And now, as the ashes fall away, as the smoke clears, the voice of God is louder than the flames. He is not whispering anymore. He is declaring with all the authority of heaven, now I will lift you out of the fire. And when God lifts you, nothing can pull you back down. You are free. You are chosen. You are rising. And your best days, your brightest days, your most fruitful days, they begin now.